guys, and this is the first chapter of head and neck anatomy of anatomy textbook. Head and neck anatomy. The first chapter we are going to learn about more about head, the anatomy of head, the regions of the head. So first of all, let's move to regions of head. Which are the regions of the head? The head: frontal, second parietal, and third occipital, and fourth temporal, and fifth auricular, and sixth parotid, and seventh orbital, and eighth nasal, and ninth zygomatic or zygomatic, and 10th buccal, and 11th oral, and 12th Mendel. So these are the 12 regions of the head. Frontal region, otherwise we call frontal region as forehead. The frontal region of the head is an area superior to the eyes. Superior to the eyes and below hairline. And this is the position of frontal region. And eyebrows are raised arcs of skin with short. What is meant by the eyebrows? Eyebrows are raised arches of the skin with short, thick hairs above supraorbital margins. Eyebrows. Supraorbital region. Eyebrows are above supraorbital region. Supraorbital margins. Okay, not region, margins. And just deep to eyebrow is curved bony ridge or superciliary arch are there. What? Just deep to the eyebrow is curved bony ridge or superciliary arch is there, and it is more prominent in adult males. The smooth, non-hairy elevated area between the eyebrows called glabella. The smooth. There is two eyebrows on above the eyes, and there is in the middle area there is a smooth, non-hairy elevated area, and non-hairy elevated area called glabella. Glabella. Between two eyebrows. Between two eyebrows, there is a non-hairy elevated area. That's called glabella, which turns to flat in children and adults, adult females, and forms a rounded prominence in adult males. Indian married Hindu females apply bindi at this side to enhance their beauty. So you can understand, Indian married Hindu females apply bindi at the side to enhance their beauty in this side. So it is important to note that pineal gland lies above 7 cm behind the glabella. Behind glabella, 7 cm behind glabella, there is pineal gland. 7 cm behind there is pineal gland. So now we can understand where is the position of pineal gland. And the prominence of the forehead, the frontal eminence, is evident on either side above the eyebrow. The frontal prominence is typically more pronounced in children and adult females. So this is the regions of the head, a diagrammatic representation. So where is parietal region? This is parietal region. You see the location. Parietal region is limited anteriorly by hairline, and posteriorly by what? Posteriorly by coronal plane. Where is this coronal plane located? Posteriorly behind in the area of coronal plane. Posteriorly by coronal plane, behind the parietal eminences. Parietal eminences, as you see here, this is parietal eminences, and behind it, behind the this parietal eminences, there is coronal plane, and on either side of the temporal line, where it is temporal line. This is temporal region. We already drew a diagram of the head, the regions of the head, and we marked the regions of the head. So now let's move to a region of the head, the parietal region. Parietal region. It is an area limited anteriorly by hairline. Do you know where is hairline? Hairline. It is an area limited anteriorly by hairline, and posteriorly by the coronal plane behind the parietal eminences, and on either side by temporal line. Parietal eminence can be felt on either side in this region about 2 inches above the auricle. 2 inches above the auricle, we can see the parietal eminence on either side in this region. So I will write parietal eminence on either sides by temporal line. On a parietal eminence on either side by temporal line. Parietal eminence can be felt on either side in this region about 2 inches above the about 2 inches above the auricle. Don't you know where is auricle located? The auricle is, as you know, that the outside part of the ear, outside the head we see the ear, that's called auricle. Otherwise we call it as pinna. So let's move to the next section. The parietal prominences are evident on or just in front of the interauricular line. Occipital region, the location of it is an area. Location of the occipital region is an area of cranium behind the parietal eminences. Behind the parietal eminences. Parietal eminences. This is parietal eminence. Behind the parietal eminences. Okay, this will be the region. and above the external occipital protuberance. External occipital protuberance, above the external occipital protuberance and superior neutral lines. External occipital protuberance can be seen here. So behind the occipital region, this region, the place when we calculate the area of the occipital region, there is a protuberance that's called occipital protuberance. This is occipital protuberance and this is superior neutral lines. Occipital protuberance and superior neutral lines. Just above these superior neutral lines and occipital protuberance, the occipital region occurs, and just below the parietal eminence. Just behind the parietal eminence. So the most prominent point in the occipital region is called opistocranium or occiput. Occipital region most prominent is occiput. Occiput, or otherwise we call it as opistocranium. Opistocranium. What is this opistocranium? Opistocranium is, so this opistocranium occiput, where it's located is the posterior most part of the point, most posterior part of the occipital region in mid sagittal plane. So that's the place. Temporal region. Temporal region is the area on the side of skull between the temporal line and zygomatic arc. So here is the location of temporal region. Where is the location of temporal region? It is the area on the side of the skull, between the temporal line and zygomatic arc. So here it is a textbook. Here is a diagram of the skull, and here is we can see the temporal region. Temporal region's position is between the temporal line and zygomatic arc and temporal line. So that is the temporal region, and it is the site of attachment of temporalis muscle. What? Temporalis muscle. It is the site of attachment of temporalis muscle, which can be palpated when the teeth are clenched repeatedly. And this temporal muscle can be palpated when the teeth are clenched repeatedly. Try on yourself, then you can be palpated, you can be felt when your teeth are clenched, you can feel that temporalis muscle, the position of temporalis muscle. And soft tissue in the temporal region includes skin, subcutaneous tissue, temporal fascia and temporalis muscle. So the soft tissue in the temporal region. The tissue in the temporal region includes first skin, and beneath that, under the skin, there is subcutaneous tissue. Under the subcutaneous tissue there is temporal fascia, and under temporal fascia there is temporalis muscle, and thus that are structured. In the anterior part of the temporal region, deep to soft tissues is a small area where bones meet pterion. In the anterior part of the temporal region, deep soft tissues is a small area where four bones meet the pterion. So what are the points? The soft tissue in temporal region includes skin, subcutaneous tissue, and temporal fascia and temporal muscles. And the more important in temporal region is pterion. Deep to the soft tissue, there is a small area called pterion, and which is a site of four bones meet. And this site is important in clinical because when doing surgery, craniotomy, this is a site of entrance to the cranial cavity to remove the extradural hematoma like in the surgery, and pterion is more important.